Hi everybody, I am back again and I will be updating you on my eyeshadow project pan. So just to recap the rules that I've been following this year, I have two eyeshadows rolled in that I want to try and hit pan on. I can roll them out after 30 uses though because that's a lot and I feel like that's a lot of progress. So 30 uses or pan for my Pan Those Eyeshadows. Then I roll in two eyeshadows which I want to just expand the pan on. They already have a pan, I just don't want to neglect them. They will get 30 uses regardless. And then I have a wildcard eyeshadow, which basically can be any eyeshadow in my entire collection, whether it has pan or not, and it rolls in for a random number of uses between 1 and 30. First up, my Expand Those Pans eyeshadows. They both came from my W7 24 Karat Gold Rush palette, which this is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Gold, as I was saying last month, and I never even realised it. The two shades I was working on are Good As. This shade obviously rolled in for 30 uses because I wanted to expand the pan, and I have so far used it 19 out of 30 times. That's 11 more uses to go, and I think that is really doable. Especially because this shade down here, Golden Boy, which was also in to expand, has reached its goal. I've used it 30 times. I had to use it 7 times this month, which honestly is quite a lot. I am proud of myself for reaching that goal. But I reached for it 7 times, and I've now used it 30 in total, so that is rolling out. And honestly, I think that has made some really, really good progress. Because all of these eyeshadows, when I rolled this palette in, had tiny little pinprick pans like this, like that, you know, and now look at them. They are massive. I think, honestly, like a couple more rolls into the eyeshadow project pan and those will probably be empties. Or just any project, really. And I think they'd be empty. That does, however, mean that I get to roll in a new eyeshadow for my Expand Those Pans. I randomized an eyeshadow from every eyeshadow that I own that has a pan, which isn't a lot. I only have 20 eyeshadows with pans in them, and it came from my W7 On The Rocks palette, which firstly tells me that I own a lot of W7 palettes, but also this is my Pan That palette in order for this year. So this is kind of a little bit of a spoiler for my Pan That palette in order, which hasn't had an update in a while because I don't feel like just constantly updating with usage. I'd rather update with some actual progress. And as you can see, I made some good progress on it this year. I hit pans in 1, 2, 3, 4 eyeshadows, and now I'm working on Maraschino Cherry, which is a difficult one because firstly it's a darker reddish colour, but secondly I'm working on about 3 colours that are all in that same sort of shade range, basically just dark reds. But anyway, the shade that rolled into this project to expand the pan on is Moscato, which is this neutral brown. And I enjoyed using that neutral brown, especially with Martini Olive next to it, that kind of grungy green. And I will say it was a little bit disappointing for me to learn that I couldn't just use it as a lid setting shade, because that would have been super, super easy for me to fly through, but it's a little bit too dark for that on my skin tone. I haven't tried it now in the summer, so it might be okay, but when I used this palette back in like February, when I was hitting pan on Moscato, I couldn't use it as a lid setting shade. It was just too dark. So I will probably just end up using it a lot for neutral work looks, but that's still pretty easy, and I still don't think that it should take me too long to get 30 uses on it. We'll see how it goes. I've not used it once since rolling it in though, so clean start for this month. Let's see how it goes. Then for my Pan Those eyeshadows, I have a shade from my She Glam Adventure Time palette. I just swatched this palette out for some pictures, which reminds me, I might pop pictures of like the colour stories of these palettes in these videos from now on. But the eyeshadow that rolled in is this shade here, Princess Bubblegum. It's this lovely, lovely pink, but I had a hot pink that I was also working on outside of my project pans, and I was focusing really on that, so Princess Bubblegum still has 0 uses. I will be keeping it in until I use it 30 times or until I hit pan, whatever may come first. And another pretty new roll-in from last month is from my Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. And it is this shade down here, Venetian Red. I rolled this in last month because I had finally hit pan on an eyeshadow after ages and ages and ages. But I rolled this in, and again, this leans into my problem with my Pan That palette in order of just having a lot of these darker reds. They're all a little bit different, but they're not like different enough that I would use like multiples of them in conjunction, and they all kind of blend out to look very similar. Anyway, Venetian Red rolled in for 30 uses or pan, and I've used it once. I've used it once this month. You're not going to see a lot of disturbance, to be honest. The only eyeshadow that has a pan in this palette is Tempera, because I rolled that into a deck of panning earlier this year, and I used it as a lid setting shade, which was super easy, so I flew through that. Then, finally, for my wild card, I have the Profusion Delightful Dahlia palette, and it is the middle shade Dahlia, which is a pressed glitter. I had rolled this in for 17 uses, and I've just slowly been using it 1 or 2 times every month. I used it once again this month, and that comes to a total of 4 uses so far. Nothing too crazy. I keep forgetting to use this on my days off, and more recently when I've had days off, I've been really busy going out places and doing things where I've felt I had to look a little bit more toned down. So I haven't really been getting much use out of this. I think even that one use that I got was probably from when I was filming my August update last month, so I'll definitely have to try and focus some energy into that if I remember. But so far we're making good progress, and I'm really happy with my one rollout, new roll-in. I think that having just one gold to focus on will mean that Good As will be rolling out very, very soon as well. It only needs 11 more uses. That is looking good. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next update. Bye!